bail order for 22-year-old climate activist Disha Ravi has been reserved till Tuesday. This after an hour-long bail hearing where the judge asked the Delhi police a series of tough questions about the Delhi police's reasoning that the environmental activist was in league with secessionists and she was conspiring to cause the violence during the farmers' tractor rally on Republic Day. At one point, the judge even dubbed it conjecture. Where is the evidence? The judge asked repeatedly, saying he could not move on without satisfying his conscience.
Delhi court has reserved the order on bail plea of Disha Ravi, 22-year-old environmental activist who was arrested in sedition case on the 13th of February from Bengaluru.
Disha moved bail application after she was sent to 3 days of judicial custody on Friday. This after she was questioned for 5 days by Delhi police in their custody.
Delhi police also opposed the bail plea of Disha Ravi, stating that she created the WhatsApp group named International Farmers Strike on the 6th of December and she was also in touch with M.O. Dhaliwal and Anita Lal, both founders of the Poetic Justice Foundation, who according to the Delhi police are supporters of the Khalistani movement. Police also accused Disha of deleting her WhatsApp chats with them, thereby tampering with the evidence. Judge Dharmendra Rana posed some tough questions to the Delhi police. The judge wanted to know about the evidence collected by the Delhi police so far, linking Disha Ravi with the violence on Republic Day during the farmers' tractor rally. Despite asking for it 3 times, when the police couldn't produce any such documentary evidence, the judge said, "Unless I satisfy my conscience, I don't move ahead." How do you connect the actual actors of the 26 January violence with Disha Ravi? The judge asked. The Delhi police replied, the persons who have executed the conspiracy may have read the toolkit. Is there any evidence or are we on surmises or conjectures? The judge asked. We are still investigating, said the Delhi police. Appearing for Disha Ravi, advocate Siddharth Agarwal argued that around 149 protesters have been arrested till now for allegedly indulging in violence on 26th of January, but not one is directly connected to Disha. He also submitted that Disha has been attached to environmental and agricultural causes but has no links with Khalistani movement whatsoever.
After 3 hours of argument, the Patiala House Court has reserved its orders on Disha Ravi's bail plea for Tuesday. The same day, her 3 days of judicial custody is getting over. With camera person Prem Singh, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
And these new strains could cause reinfections, be more transmissible and more dangerous. And if India does not go back to aggressive testing, contact tracing and isolation, the new strains could cause another wave of infections like it has in Western countries. That's what the director of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences has told NDTV.
Doctors from the Maharashtra COVID task force told NDTV that a new strain or maybe new strains of COVID-19 could be behind this spike in Maharashtra. Is this strain more transmissible given the fact that we are seeing such a spike?
So this is possible because we know that the coronavirus, which is an RNA virus, does mutate, and this has been seen for the last many months. We've had strains which have become more infectious both in UK, in South Africa and in Brazil. But I think it's also related to multiple factors, including COVID-appropriate behavior, which has also come down. And because of that, we are seeing a spike in the number of cases in various areas of the country. And this is something that we need to be very concerned about and take aggressive action so that we are able to contain it right now rather than having an increasing number of cases in other parts of the country.
Clusters in Amravati, for instance, what we're understanding is that there are entire groups of people, families who are testing positive. The positivity rate being reported there is over 50%. How can we prevent the spread of this Indian strain?
I think we need to go back to the basic things that we were doing in the early days of the pandemic. And many of these things we have stopped doing right now. And that is why there is a huge spread that is happening in close clusters. Clusters occurs when people don't follow COVID-appropriate behavior. If you're not wearing a mask, if you're not having physical distancing, if you're not regularly washing your hands, then you will have people in your own family or in the neighborhood get the infection because it's a human-to-human spread. And if you are giving the virus a chance to spread to others who are susceptible, it will spread and cause a cluster of cases. So I think the first important thing is that we really need to look at COVID appropriate behavior. Many of us have stopped doing that, and that is causing a huge problem, because whenever we have a new strain or we have an area where you can have what we call super spreading event, this can happen. Secondly, I think it's also important for us to understand that the virus is going to change, is going to mutate, and we should not really take things casually. We need to have the aggressive measures that we were following in the past of contact tracing, of isolation, of quarantine, which we are not doing right now. So
many people say that, there's herd immunity now in India, so we're all safe. Do you believe that's a myth?
Herd immunity is a myth, and I'll just try to explain this from 2 points of view. One is that even if you look at the serosurveillance data, it clearly suggests that the number of people who have got immunity across the country still is not that to cause herd immunity. We still are only around 20 to 25%, whereas you need about 80% of people to have antibodies to say we're reaching herd immunity. Secondly, herd immunity is dependent on the fact that you have immunity to the virus which was originally there. If you have a lot of variants or mutations which occur in the virus, your immune response to that will fall, and you will be prone to, you could call it reinfection or infection with a new variant to which the immunity is not that strong. So because of both of these, I don't think we should really focus that much on herd immunity. It is going to be a myth. We have to look at other strategies rather than waiting for herd immunity.
And Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has urged farmers, lakhs of whom have been protesting the new agriculture law since November, to stay strong. She claims this government is weak and this government will have to back down. And she said this at a rally in UP's Muzaffarnagar.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने लिए दुनिया में भ्रमण करने के लिए 2 हवाई जहाज खरीदे और उन 2 हवाई जहाजों की कीमत 16,000 करोड़ रुपए है। आपके गन्ने के भुगतान से ज्यादा उनके पास अपने 2 हवाई जहाजों को खरीदने के लिए पैसे हैं, लेकिन आपके देश भर के किसान के भुगतान के लिए पैसे नहीं हैं।
हमने समर्थन किया परिवर्तन के हिसाब से बीजेपी को। सत्ता में कांग्रेस पार्टी थी तो लोगों का एक मिशन था कि बदलाव करेंगे, परिवर्तन करेंगे। तो इस बार भी परिवर्तन के मोड में है जनता। ये जो महंगाई है और तरह तरह के वाद विवाद पैदा हो रहे हैं, आपसी भाईचारा बिगड़ रहा है, किसान को परेशानी हो रही है बहुत ज्यादा।
जो झूठ बोलते हैं तबाही कर दी है इन्होंने। इन लोगों ने मतलब जो 14 दिन के लिए पेमेंट के लिए कहा था गन्ने के लिए, 14 दिन के बजाय इन्होंने 1.5 साल पिछले पेमेंट को लिया, वो भी पूरा नहीं हुआ है। किसान परेशान है और उसे पैसा नहीं मिल रहा है।
Meanwhile, in Rajasthan, a series of farmer rallies by the Congress has set off a political competition in the state between various factions of the party, it seems. Here's a report.
Large crowds at a Kisan rally organized by the Congress 80 kilometers from Jaipur. On the stage, Sachin Pilot and 17 MLAs considered to be his loyalists. Both the Chief Minister and the Congress President in Rajasthan marked by their absence at a rally which appears to be a show of strength by the Pilot camp.
Do you think somewhere it's एक तरह से एक parallel पंचायत है, because we saw दो लोग आपके साथ आए हैं, there are people who are known to be your supporters, but we didn't see Dotasra ji or we didn't see Ashok ji, such a big rally, इतनी बड़ी रैली थी, और
ये पूरी
कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष
पूरी पार्टी का सामूहिक ये एक एफर्ट था और अखिल भारतीय कांग्रेस कमेटी ने कहा है कि हर नेता, हर व्यक्ति, हर कार्यकर्ता जिले में जाए, ब्लॉक में जाए, सभाएं करे, किसानों को जागरूक करे।
Organizer of this massive turnout, MLA Ved Prakash Solanki says he did offer an invitation to both the Chief Minister and the party president in Rajasthan.
उनको बकायदा रिटर्न में चिट्ठी भी दी है, आग्रह भी किया कि आपको आना चाहिए। उन्होंने खुद ने कहा यार कि बहुत अच्छी तैयारी चल रही है, उनको मालूम भी था कि बहुत अच्छी तैयारी चल रही है। उन्होंने ये शब्द मुझे कहा तो मैंने कहा साहब इसमें गति देने के लिए आप आएंगे तो और ज़्यादा गति मिलेगी। मैंने उनसे निवेदन भी किया था, उन्होंने कहा था मुझे शादी समारोह में जाना है, इस वजह से उन्होंने मना किया। बाकी मैंने इन्विटेशन दिया था। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी को मैंने समय नोट कराया हुआ था 7-8 दिन पहले ही, उनसे मेरी मुलाकात नहीं हो पाई, नहीं उनको भी आमंत्रित करते।
On Saturday in Jaipur city, another rally in support of farmers, but this time marked by the absence of Sachin Pilot and MLAs considered close to him.
कांग्रेस पार्टी का और किसान का चोली दामन का साथ रहा है। राहुल गांधी जी ने पहले दिन से ये कह दिया था कि हम किसान के साथ में खड़े हैं, तो मैं समझता हूं कि किसान के मुद्दे पे कोई किसी तरह की कोई बात नहीं, हम सब एक।
But clearly, who can draw bigger crowds to establish their political credentials is the latest buzz, is the fallout of these parallel Congress panchayats in Rajasthan. In Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
And in West Bengal, the BJP leader Pamela Goswami has been sent to police custody for alleged possession of cocaine. And she's now accused another BJP leader, Rakesh Singh, of framing her. Singh is close to the BJP National General Secretary Kailash Vijayvargiya. She claims as she was led into court this morning in Kolkata, both named BJP leaders have dismissed the charge. Singh claims the police may have coerced Pamela to make such allegations. The Trinamool says the BJP's true colours are out, that no decent person can be part of that party.
BJP youth leader Pamela Goswami's shocking allegation outside court. I've been framed, she said, by Rakesh Singh, a BJP leader associated with BJP Bengal in charge. Pamela, who's been frequently photographed with BJP top brass, and another party colleague were arrested on Friday for alleged possession of 100 grams of cocaine.
কোনো সুস্থ মস্তিষ্কের লোক বিজেপি করতে পারে? যারা কোকেন নেয়, হিরোইন নেয়, গাঁজা খায় তারাই বিজেপি করে। ভদ্রলোক যারা সাধারণভাবে শিক্ষিত, যারা সুচিন্তা করে তারা কখনো বিজেপি করতে পারে?
BJP has been claiming that Trinamool Congress and the Kolkata police had framed Pamela Goswami. But Pamela's sensational claims outside court have put the party on the back foot. Even on her way out of the court, Pamela Goswami repeated the allegation, saying Rakesh Singh had personal grudges against her. The BJP said this is the work of the Trinamool Congress, who may have instigated Pamela Goswami to make the claims.
Pamela Goswami's arrest may have come as an embarrassment for the BJP, but her sensational allegations outside the court are likely to cause more worry, as it shows the party which is taking on the incumbent TMC in the state is already having to deal with infighting within the party. In Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And thousands participated in the funeral prayers of two policemen killed in a deadly terror attack that was caught on camera on Friday. Jammu and Kashmir Police, which has been on the forefront in the fight against militancy, has been the main target of terrorists. And in the last 3 decades of militancy, around 1,500 policemen have been killed in Kashmir.
Thousands coming out to mourn the tragic killing of Suhail Ahmed and Mohammad Yusuf at their funeral prayers in Anantnag and Kupwara. The fallen policemen were killed in a deadly terrorist attack on Friday that was caught on camera. Survived by a wife and 2 children, Suhail is the second policeman in his family killed in a terrorist attack. His uncle, an assistant sub-inspector of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, was also killed during a terrorist attack in Anantnag town 2 years ago.
जितना इसकी मतलब प्रशंसा किया जाए उतना बहुत कम है। 8 साल पहले भर्ती हुआ था।
सुहेल
परिवार में एक माँ है और 2 उसकी बीवी है और उसके 2 बच्चे हैं।
Around 185 kilometers from Anantnag, a similar outpouring of grief and anger in Zirhama in Kupwara at the last rites of Mohammad Yusuf. The family has lost their sole breadwinner. The question on everyone's mind, now who will take care of his 4 children, the eldest a class 10 student?
ये खून खराबा अगर रोज रोज होता है, ये मरते हैं, पुलिस वाले मरते हैं वो भी कश्मीरी है, सिविल मरते हैं वो भी कश्मीरी है, तो हर तरफ से कश्मीरी मर रहा है, इसको कोई होना चाहिए। कमाने वाला ये एक ही था, ये शहीद हो गया बेचारा, और कमाने वाला कोई नहीं, छोटे छोटे बच्चे।
The deadly attack caught on camera has shocked everyone in Kashmir, and the participation of thousands of people in last rites of fallen policemen clearly shows that people are against such killings and stand with the victims of violence. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi, NDTV.
And after a break, fuel prices hiked for the 12th straight day. Welcome back. News from around the country now. The YSRCP has held a Padyatra to protest against the privatization of the Visakhapatnam steel plant, and YSRCP MP Vijay S.I. Reddy led the protest. Meanwhile, petrol and diesel prices have touched record all-time highs across the 4 metros. In fact, fuel rates have risen for the 12th consecutive day.
Opposition-led protests in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan as fuel prices soared for the 12th straight day. Petrol in Mumbai hit 97 rupees a litre, burning a hole in the common man's pocket. Petrol prices above 90 rupees a litre in major metros.
पेट्रोल का दाम बढ़ने से घर का पूरा बजट हिल गया। अब 15 से 14 हज़ार रुपए की तनख्वाह में आदमी हर चीज ये चीज अफोर्ड करना बड़ा मुश्किल हो गया।
On Wednesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi blamed India's over 85% import dependence for the burden the common man was facing, and Oil Minister Dharmendra Pradhan blamed output cut by oil-producing nations for the rally in international oil prices that have translated into higher retail rates in India. Today, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman called it a vexatious issue, saying both the centre and states will have to talk.
It is a matter of fact that both the centre and the states will have to talk. It's no good if just, moral high ground is gained by the centre by saying, right, I bring down the excise to zero, I'm not taking anything from you, go about buying your petrol and diesel. I can do that if I have a certain guarantee that my revenue foregone will not be an opportunity for somebody else or anybody else to get into the space and say, I'll gain that.
As per reports, the price of crude oil was around $105 a barrel in March 2014. It is then that the central government was charging taxes of around 3.5 rupees a litre on diesel and around 9.5 rupees a litre on petrol. The price of petrol then was around 70 rupees a litre, while today, however, Brent crude prices are around $62 a barrel, and petrol prices across metros are over 90 rupees a litre, while diesel prices are over 80 rupees a litre. The spike in petrol prices since then is around 30%, while the decline in crude oil prices since March 2014 is around 41%. However, regardless of the international math in crude oil prices and taxation, the big question is till when will the common man face the burden of high fuel prices? With camera person Ashok Mahale and Sukirti Devedi, Sakshi Bajaj for NDTV.